Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. I'm your host, Scott Wheeler. Today's guests are the mayor of Newport, who is no stranger to this show. Now, if I could only remember her name. Oh, Linda. Oh.
You can call me Linda Joy Sullivan.
There. Let's start over again. As you've been on, when you get to be my age, 59, it all right, here we go. For those, wait. Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. I'm your host, Scott Wheeler. Today's guests are Linda Joy Sullivan, the mayor of Newport, and Russ Ingalls, a Vermont state senator. They're here to talk about crime, drugs, and violence. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kind of a heavy topic, but I think in light of things that's been going on in recent months, I think this is a very important topic. And you're also on here to discuss an upcoming event in which people can share their thoughts. So let's start with you, Mayor. Let's introduce yourself and, maybe why this topic involves the city.
Sure. I'm Linda Joy Sullivan. I'm the Newport City Mayor. This particular topic, drugs, trafficking, policing, not only involves Newport, it involves the world, but of course, Newport is where we're focused right now. Actually, I think that it's really important that people understand what policing actually is. And policing actually turns into a collaboration between the police and the community so that we can identify and solve community problems. We have issues going on, and I believe many people know I've been working in the field of anti-human trafficking for many, many years. And human trafficking is a byproduct of drug trafficking and other areas of crime and violence. And human trafficking by itself is a crime unto itself. But I think what's going on right here in Newport, and sadly, it's been highlighted because of the local news and the sadness of some deaths. But we need to pay attention. The community doesn't feel safe. The people need to understand what to do to keep them safe. We need to work with the police. And I think that I want to thank Senator Ingalls for bringing this topic to the community and asking me to join with him. But my main concern right now is that this is a far-reaching problem, and we need to make sure that our citizens in Newport understand what to do, how to stay safe, and how we can work together. And once again, I want to thank Senator Ingalls for bringing this topic to Newport, because I can't thank him enough for this.
Now, what about you, Senator Ingalls?
Well, I think that, the mayor summed it up really, really well. Policing isn't just about, going around and arresting people. It's working within your community to help your community be safe. And the best the results that you can have with policing is when your community feels safe within their law enforcement. And I think we're very, very fortunate to have what we have in Newport. I think that Chief Travis Bingham works very well with the mayor to keep the city safe. And I think that our partners in the state police and the sheriff's department, along with the people in the courthouse, keep a good mix of protections going. And we're just hearing so much dangers going on right now within our state. We have some parts of our state that just don't believe that they should have a relationship within their community with their law enforcement. And And I just think it's very, very important that we do. And this forum that the mayor and I are putting on is going to give the public a chance to tell us how they feel about it, but it's also going to give law enforcement a chance to tell of what the dangers are and identify the dangers are, and help the public feel safe about reaching out so that everybody can work together to keep our communities a place of prosperity and peace and safetyness.
You know, if there's anything, I won't say good, but I think something's going to come out of the recent death of Kayla Wright. I think it started a real, honest to goodness dialogue that now I think people, for some reason, it's got to them now that this can happen to anybody. And I think that's really going to help move this discussion in the right direction. You know, of course, everybody wished she hadn't died, but I think the family, I've read some of their posts, they want something good to come out of this too. And I think, you know, I do know from talking to you, this event was actually planned prior to her murder.
Well, it was. And, you know, again, the mayor and I, you know, who we have a great working relationship. I'm a resident of Newport City, and, you know, very happy to see, you know, what the mayor's doing. But yeah, the mayor and I, you know, we're always thinking collaboratively, you know, how we can make our communities better. And this is one of the discussions that had come up. And we just thought before this death had happened that this would be a good time to get together and to assure the public that we have a handle of what's going on. And hopefully this forum will prove that out.
Now, what is the date and time and location of this event?
We're going to do it on February 22nd, and the mayor secured the gym at the municipal building, and it's going to be from 6:30 to 8:30.
And so will local law enforcement, it sounds like they'll be there too?
So I've secured, just barely got off the phone with Jennifer Harlow Jacobs, the sheriff, Travis Bingham. The mayor sent Chief Bingham an email today, and so I got off the phone with him. I got off the phone with our state's attorney, Farzana Leva, and then I've also got just off of communications with Commissioner Morrissey from Vermont State Police or Public Safety, and I think between them and the area reps, I have heard that maybe that we might be joined by some of the border protection folks. But again, you know, we want to keep it kind of focused to our communities at the state level. That is, I think it will go very well.
And to add to that, the fire chief is also going to be joining us.
Cool.
Now, Senator Ingalls, I know you and I are both, I know you spent time traveling with your parents in the military, but you're a homegrown, well, you're a Northeast Kingdom boy.
For sure.
You know, your roots run deep here. Did you ever really think you would be seeing what you're seeing now in the Northeast Kingdom?
I think it's no. I guess the short answer to that is no, I haven't. You know, but it's more so, yes, it's bled over into the Northeast Kingdom, but it's coming from other parts of our state that probably don't have the same value that we have as far as for public safety. This drug thing that's going on in our state is something that is, you know, in my capacity as senator, I mean, we're hearing that it's almost causing the public transit system to fail in Chittenden County because people just don't want to ride the bus anymore. I mean, we're seeing that it's breaking up family units. It's causing homelessness. It's causing kids to go into DCF. It's just at a level right now that it's very, very scary, and I just think before it overtakes the Northeast Kingdom more than what it has, that we have a responsibility to our citizens to let them know that again, is this what you want to see in your communities, and if not, that we have the people in place that can keep this from happening, but it needs the public support. In the areas of other parts of the state, the public has said, no, we don't really like our police department and we wanted to fund them. And we just want to make sure that that's not how our community feels. And if they do, get down to the reason why they would feel that way. I just don't think that we're at that level where the public feels distrust of our police force. We're going to give the police, all of the public safety folks, an opportunity to tell the community about what they're doing to keep them safe.
Now, what's going on at the State House? Because I know you have a fair number of people who oppose being tough on certain crimes, which I understand on certain crimes, but one person I read on Facebook, it seemed logical, is there just the act, upgrading the very act of bringing drugs into our state, across state boundaries, is there any enhanced, ramifications for doing that? Is there any serious talk to basically adopt stronger laws, not to go after the addicts, but about the traffickers?
No, there is that. The answer to your question is no. In the Chittenden County areas, there is just areas where they just don't want people stopped. They do not want law enforcement to have any interaction with anybody at any time. And if they do, they don't want them even stopping them for brake lights or anything like that. So there is just and it's very, very disturbing. It's disturbing that they want to talk about public safety, but they really don't want anything going on. Thank God the feds have stepped in, and the feds are the one that are driving a lot of these folks as far as these drug pushers. The feds have stepped in and really taken a big role as far as on that. But they can't do it by themselves. They need to have local partners in the communities, and where we can stop some of the dangerous things that the feds just aren't going to see. The feds can arrest them after the fact, but I think with solid policing that we can keep this out of our communities if we all work together. But no, God, there is nothing coming out of Montpelier with the supermajority that would say anything about being tougher on these drug traffickers. They have no interest in that. In fact, they're writing laws on the contrary.
Yeah, because there really is a new breed. There is a new group of people now who are coming into our area. To go back to my history writing, I wrote 2 books on the history of prohibition in Vermont, the smuggling of alcohol. The same, very similar thing occurred. You had your good old boy locals who they were relatively decent people doing illegal and or dumb things. But then you had another group of people come to the area who they didn't have the same way of thinking. And I see that happening because let's be real, most people who come to our state, they're just wonderful human beings. And but there's another group that they're just coming in here to they look at the financial opportunities, and I don't mean in a legal way.
Well, I think what you have too is a difference as far as in potency of what was being pushed. Alcohol was made illegal, and so but pretty much that was because they thought it degraded society. But not a lot of people, not to say that alcoholism is a good thing, because it's not, but not a lot of people were dying from using alcohol.
Right.
What we have right now is we have just a dangerous death that's creeping into our communities that you weren't going to die by popping open a beer and drinking it, but you're very apt to die right now with a mix of what they have coming in using one time. And the potency of addiction, I probably tend to disagree with some folks that say that you were born with addiction. I kind of think that you have to take something to get addicted to it. And but this stuff is so powerful that you can use one time and you can be addicted to it, never mind dying. And so I think there's a big contrast to that. And yes, and these people that are coming into our communities too, they don't. It's there's nothing wrong with having people coming in and learning a different value. But these folks that are coming in have no value at all. They will kill you just to kill you. And when you lose that respect for life, that is something that we've never seen before, and
Yeah.
it's something that we gotta make sure that we stop.
Okay, Mayor, you also served in the House, and you're from another section of Vermont originally. What do you think? Because you really know how the state house works. So is there anything that the senators and representatives could do that can help out your city when it comes to this issue, or is this up to the city?
I think it's both. I think it's a combination of both. When Senator Ingalls said it very clearly, there's a supermajority out there right now, and they're going to have mindsets of what their pet bills are going to be. I think when I was in the House, it was more balanced. It wasn't a supermajority. There was a majority, but there was a closeness of votes that could actually have more collaboration. And I think that's how better bills come out and more of the cities and towns in Vermont are helped. Because if there's no balance, then people are just going to do whatever they want. And that doesn't benefit the state of Vermont. I think right now we are dealing with drug trafficking, and that totally undermines parenting. So you can't just focus on, let's focus on how to better the potential addict. It's more than that. It's all around. The law enforcement are no longer the sole guardians of, the streets on drugs. They need collaboration. There's goals that are set, and our city needs those goals. We need to actually reduce gang violence. We need to actually start controlling street crimes. We need to actually stop children from getting pulled in, and we need to work with the police that way. I think we need to have more of an integrity put into the criminal justice institution. So it can't be, I was on institutions, and the mindset when I was on institutions, there was an opening up of, everybody has a social issue, therefore do we really need prisons? That to me was bizarre. I mean, we have to stay focused across the state of Vermont, across the other states. You all brought it up before. These are federal issues, okay? We've got smuggling. But Vermont, it's not specific. Drug dealers don't care where they go. If there's a human being and they can earn a living, and they're not open 9 to 5, they're open 24/7. So if they can come in and they can make a living, our city's in danger.
I was recently told, because I haven't kept up on it, but that in Vermont, some crimes you can be 20 years old and be listed as a juvenile. Is that? Yes. And so what I understand now is that some of the people being sent here by bigger operators to the south will have been known to send younger traffickers here because they know there's they won't pay such a steep price.
Or they're moving into the community and they're using the people, because the supermajority now wants to have it up to 22 years old that you are a juvenile, and right now they've got it just a hair over 20 years old. The governor actually, in a reflection of probably making a mistake, said I probably shouldn't have signed that bill, those previous bills. We've been fighting it for 2 years to keep juveniles under the age of 18, but it has gone up over the age of 20, and they want it to go all the way to 22. And so these people that are supplying drugs are coming in, and they're they're working with people who are using these drugs. They're moving into the household and taking over the households and using people under the age of 22 to sell, because they know that they'll be treated as juveniles.
And
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go on.
I was going to say, to that point, there's a very stringent grooming process that goes on. And that grooming process should never be underestimated. So drug traffickers and human traffickers, they groom these younger people. And then once you're in their debt, you are put out there on the street to work off whatever it is they need, and you're entrapped. But there's a grooming process that is phenomenal.
Absolutely. The one thing, we only have about 8 minutes left, which is amazing. But I think one thing that has to be said, though, I read a lot of criticism of the police, and I think sometimes it's misdirected. And it's like, or like, for example, you can know that the occupants of a house is distributing fentanyl or whatever. But knowing and proven are two different things when it comes to raiding that place. Because, of course, there's a part of me that says, come on, what's going on, raid the place. But what do you have to say about that, either one of you?
I'm going to let the mayor speak, because he's talking, that's about our community. So go ahead, Mayor.
Sure. So I want to say that, it's very difficult for law enforcement to focus on, we're identifying something that's drug trafficking. How do we prove it? But also, if we do know it's there, how do we report it? How are we supposed to investigate it? Who's going to be harmed if we were just supposed to come in and start speaking? How do they follow the appropriate rules to keep the society and keep their citizens and our locals safe when they do identify this? So, there's that whole prevention, intervention, there's treatment, recovery for the people who become the addicts. But the biggest issue is how does law enforcement say, I see it? How do I address it? Is it a federal issue? Is it a local issue? How do I get somebody out of the building? How do I deal with it? And those are some of the goals that I'm hoping we'll be able to discuss at this community forum. And I think those issues are what law enforcement is going to open up to us about.
And I think to further that with those comments is that I think it's going to be a great opportunity for the law enforcement to build partnerships with the community, because again, we think we know, or we might know, we see the traffic and all of that, but if we can get the confidential informants to work with the police department, if we can get the community to assure and help law enforcement to make those assessments, I think these meetings that we're going to have, I think, can help with those relationships.
Okay, when is this meeting coming up again? Just so we can't say it too many times.
It's February 22nd. It's 6:30 to 8:30. It's going to be held at the municipal building in the gym. The mayor secured that for us, and we should. I think we might be expecting a couple hundred people there. I think that's probably a safe number to say. And again, we're going to give law enforcement a chance to tell what's going on. We're going to go right down through between our three branches who are confirmed there, between the state police, the sheriff's department, and Newport City PD. And we're going to have our state's attorney there as well. And we can get a pretty good idea about what the dangers are and what they're seeing. And between the mayor and I patrolling the crowd as far as for questions, I think we can, keep this a pretty upbeat meeting and keep it to 2 hours. And I think the community will really come out of this feeling that not only is the mayor looking out for them on the local level, but a senator's looking out for them at the state level, and then the law enforcement professionals and everybody else in there in support are there, for the community. And whatever we don't get through at this meeting, everybody answers phone calls, and at least we'll develop relationships so that whatever doesn't get answered there, we should be able to start partnerships to where people can get their questions answered.
Yeah, I think 200 is probably a good start. I suspect I think in light of the recent murder, I think it'll be more, which is actually, well, no, I won't say it was good, but it's going to be good that more people are going to show up. Now, we only have a couple more minutes, but I want to ask you this, Senator Ingalls, since you're a senator of a massive chunk of land, do you plan to bring these discussions to other communities?
Yes, I've got one that's we're working on the scheduling, but should be a week after this, and I can let you know, Scott. And I'm also talked to Sheriff Colby up in Essex County, and I want to push one up into the Canaan area. And so, yes, those are the 3 districts. I've got 25 towns and 3 counties, and it's involving 3 courthouses. And so we're going to, this will be the first one, and we'll move it down into Caledonia County, and then we'll move it up into Essex County. Okay,
well, we have to wrap up, but I'd like to give you both just your final parting shots, maybe a minute long. Mayor Linda Joy.
Sure. Well, thank you. And again, I want to thank Senator Ingalls for starting this conversation with me. My big concern and my hope at the end of the day is that as a community, everybody realizes that we have chosen not to ignore this problem. We have chosen to pay attention, to ask the right questions, to collaborate, and make sure that everybody feels safe and we work properly together. I really think that our law enforcement's doing a fantastic job. These are such outrageous issues, and they can't do it alone. And even when we join them, they will have to watch out for us to make sure when we participate that we do it the way we're supposed to and stay safe. So I want everybody to please come out, and thank you, Senator Ingalls, and thank you, Scott, for this.
And thank you, Mayor Sullivan. And Senator Ingalls.
Well, I want people to come to this meeting because we welcome everybody. We welcome everybody in our community. And one neat thing about the Orleans County area is that we don't care about your religion, your politics, the color of your skin, what you made, what you haven't made, what you believe, what you don't believe, what you look like, what you don't look like. All we ask is that you're a good person. And if you are that, you're in. And we're having some people that aren't good people move into our areas. We need to make sure that the public's aware of it. We also need to make sure that the public feels safe enough to come and report that to their community leaders and to their law enforcement. And I think that this is going to be a great opportunity to develop those relationships that I think are very strong, as the mayor had said. And if they're not, we can make them stronger. We can develop the contacts that people need to have, and to be able to reach out. And if they see something that they know that isn't right, come in and contact the appropriate authority.
Okay, thank you both for coming on, and thank you for tackling this very important, dire issue. And facing it head on and not pretending it doesn't exist.
Yep. Well, thank you. And I want to thank the mayor as well for being supportive of the idea. It, together, we can make a difference in our community.
Thank you all.
Yep. And thank you to the viewers for tuning in to another segment of the Northeast Kingdom Voice. Bye.